The day has finally come. I never thought it would. Snow White on freaking 4K from 1937. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. The sound is good too. It's a little bit revisionist sound, but it does sound really good. My goodness, this is a huge upgrade over the existing Blu-ray. So you could you could just throw that away because this was such a joy to watch. I showed it to my kids for the first time and they were glued the whole time through. I contractually was obligated to skip the forest part when she's running around like a clown in the forest getting stuck in all the trees and stuff because it's too scary. But oh my goodness, huge upgrade. Totally worth it. I wanted to start on the Wicked Queen's gangsta pose. This is like her MySpace profile picture here. I just think it's so cool looking. Some people say that the opening shot of this movie is not that impressive, but right when this movie started, my mouth just dropped open. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I love the layers that they use when they made this movie, and just the 4K. It looks amazing. Like my wife said, she felt like versus the Blu-ray because we kind of put them side by side. She felt like with the 4K, she was looking at individual painted like film cells basically, and I agree. And one thing about the 4K, I don't know if it'll show on my phone, but it actually is quite a bit darker overall. Like if you look at this shot right here, the serving wench out there scrubbing the floor, it's it's quite a bit darker on the 4K, but you can see there's so much more nuance between all the colors, and the detail is so much stronger throughout. Seriously, it was such a joy watching this. Like the part where the dwarves are in the mine, when it first, like the opening shot of them inside their mine, on the 4K, you can just see every little sparkle is separate from each other. And the Blu-ray, it blends a little more and it's a little more fuzzy. But my goodness, like the Blu-ray, the Blu-ray looks good. It's just the 4K is just on another level. I was blown away. It's like the Cinderella restoration, if you saw that 4K, where it is quite a bit darker, but there's so much more life and nuance in the picture, and it's just like a curtain has been taken off of it, and you can just see the actual like what exists of the artwork. I thought it was that way with the Blu-ray, but this way. So yes, you have the added resolution, but you also have the HDR kind of bringing the colors back into the depth of how they exist on the film. And my goodness, I could not stop just like drooling basically while watching this. Look at them singing to each other and they're kind of start passing this trash bird back and forth. Watch what it does. It's going to pick something out of his teeth right here. Look at this. Oh, it's all shy. Watch. Here it goes. Pick. He's like, oh, that was my piece of sausage I was saving for later. Look at her face, is kind of blurry right here. You see that? It's almost like double vision. I don't know what that's about, if that's a part of the original source or what, but it's about 7.5 minutes in. So if any deeper experts on this movie can comment, her face is almost like double vision on that part. There's quite a few parts when there's multiple layers of the picture where you do get some blur, but that was probably the worst out of the whole movie. So at about 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes, her face is almost like it looks doubled. So I mean, I've seen this movie a lot. I've just never noticed that before. Maybe it's because this is the highest resolution I've ever seen it at. Anyway, I'd love to hear if anyone knows what that's about. Okay, here's proof that Snow White has a nose. Ready? She sticks it on there, and you can see her nose getting squished into the glass right there. I can't handle this part with all the rodents in their bed, especially the deer, their dirty tick bodies. Here's one of the greatest lines.
The place is clean. There's dirty work afoot.
My wife didn't realize, she hadn't seen this in a long time. She didn't realize how funny this movie is. Like as a grown-up, like it's actually really hilarious. It's tempting to just talk about every single part of this movie and end up just doing like an entire commentary because there's so much to love in this movie. Right here when they're trying to suppress Sneezy. Anyway, and then there's a part when he tries to sneeze and they all like pile on top of him. It just reminds me of one time I was at a sleepover in junior high and we were having a pillow fight, the kind of pillow fight where you like stomp your foot into the pillow so you crumble up the pillow into a hard ball at the bottom. Anyway, and I was right about to sneeze, and like right as the sneeze was about to exit my head, somebody hit me right in the face with a pillow because it's a pillow fight. And I thought I was going to die. I thought my head exploded. So it's just like all these guys suppressing his sneezes. I could feel for him because, yeah, I think I blew a gasket or something when, when that happened. Two things. One, this is the coolest pipe organ of all time. Two, can anybody explain anatomically what is going on right here? Hang on, wait for it. Right there. It looks like more than just, I don't know. The anatomy of that part just kind of makes me hurt down there.
Yeah.
I love that Grumpy always does this.
In a pig's eye. In a pig's eye? A sty. No, I mean...
Doc is like, might as well be called stuttery, and then Grumpy always like fills in his sentences and then he says it. It's like, you sleep up in our beds. We'll be fine down here in a pig's eye. Look at that. Aw. That would not be in a movie nowadays, so it's kind of nice to see it. It's nice for my kids to see that, honestly. And then, yeah, they just had such a blast the whole time we were watching it. They were so into it. They were terrified. They were happy. And when the dwarves were going up to wake her up, and they all had their clubs above them before they met her. I asked my kids, I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen? And my 2-year-old's like, I don't know. And my 4-year-old's like, they're gonna wake her up and kill her. I was like, no, they're not. Oh my gosh. What do you think I'm showing you? All right. I was a little bit disappointed in Snow White's self-preservation skills on this part, because as the dwarves were leaving, they're like, look, the witch is on the loose. Don't let anyone in the house. And this first person that shows up, she's like, oh, I'm going to totally fall for it. So, and then anyway, she lets her in, and I just feel like she could have been a little bit more like self-preservation skills on this part. But she did fall for being manipulated by the queen, and I did show my kids this part here. So you got Snow White comforting her back here, and then look at her face, right? She's not really in distress. And so I was talking to my kids about what the word manipulation means. And so it actually provided a very good talking point, talking about how she's manipulating her to let her in. So that was an interesting conversation to have with a 2, 4, and 8-year-old. This part looks so incredible in 4K. Just all the rain hitting the rocks. Right there. That shot. That is one of the most beautiful shots in the whole movie, my goodness. And when the thunder goes off, like, I know it's a little bit revisionist audio, and I would prefer the original audio, which apparently the Blu-ray says that it has. Anyway, the bass on the 4K with the DTS HD 5.1 was booming on this part when the boulder falls, but each like thunder and everything, and just this scene with all the different raindrops and everything. Like, the 4K is just so good. Huge upgrade. So do not be dissuaded by the fact that it is significantly a darker image than the Blu-ray. It is a better, more lifelike, if you can say that about a cartoon, better image. And it was such a joy to watch. And then the movie itself is so good too. So it's just like, movies like this just remind me of classic Disney back when they made really, really good stuff that you could watch and laugh and be scared at and talk to your kids about and just have a good time. And then your little kids are going to be pretending to be Snow White for the next, I don't know, forever. And we actually read Snow White before bed as well. So it turned into a Snow White day. Anyway, I cannot say enough good about this 4K upgrade. I absolutely loved it. It was a blast showing it to my kids. Could talk about it for hours. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you think about this, and if you're planning on upgrading, and if you like this movie or if it's one that you avoid. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye.